What a day. Oh man, let me stretch. Oh. Well, boys and girls, it's Tuesday. And I am back from vacation. It took me a little bit of a break. I was getting real burnt out and I needed a break. And I feel like I've been burning the candle at both ends, but it took me let's see. Last week I went and I delivered an amplifier. I took that 3CX3000A7 that I built for Nice Guy. Took and delivered it, dropped it off, and now he's got all the little pieces of the puzzle down there in Salt Lake. So I can't say I took the whole week off, but I took most of the week off. I never plugged in my soldering iron once last week, which was needed. Because I'm getting tired, and if I get burned out, you guys, we're going to lose the valuable resource, which is me, of the repair side of the business. But I came back, and I'm back in the motions of things this week. And first things out the chute, I was going to try and get this done before last week rolled around, and I didn't. And so it's the first thing that's out the door this week. But gentlemen, we're here to talk about Mr. Turner, Mr. Sebastian Turner's 2-pill 50-volt bipolar base unit that runs on 110. Sebastian ordered this 13 months ago and has been patiently waiting and waiting and waiting. Now there's beauty and there's elegance in the simplicity of things. As I pointed out in the video that I put out the week before last of the other 2-pill 50-volt box, this has got a Meanwell SE1000-48 in it. This is a 20 amp continuous, 40 amp surge, Meanwell badass clean power supply. And instead of doing a whole bunch of the little modules, I just went with one supply, which is working out very well. The problem is that these supplies are very expensive. This is a couple $100 unit just in itself, just this one piece, right? So we think about the cabinet, all the way down to the little rubber feet, the coax connector, the heatsink, the transistors, the 10 amp 12 volt supply that's in here. After it's all said and done, I'm building these at cost. So there's going to be a change in price as far as these are concerned coming out shortly. But all that aside, Sebastian, this is your time to turn and burn in the sun, buddy. Elegance and simplicity. Bolt in power supply, bolt in another power supply, hook up some wires, build the board. This 2-pill 50-volt design has been through no less than 6 different modifications or mods in the years that I've been doing these. I don't know why there hasn't been other builders jump on this bandwagon. I don't know if they just don't know how, or they haven't been able to figure it out, or no one's calling and asking them to build it, or they're trying to upsell them into something else. I don't know. But these little 2-pill 50-volt bipolars that are in here scream. And I mean, they put out a ton of power. You get roughly the same amount of power out of those 2 little transistors as you get out of a 2x4. And you're pulling nothing out of the wall because it's at 50 volts. So therefore the component pulls less amperage and there's less amp draw out of the wall, but you're getting more watts. And you can run something like a 955, a 100 peak watt radio, not bird, I want to keep it about 30 bird, into it, and you get 1,000 watts out, peak power, or about half a kW RMS. Absolutely wonderful unit. It just amazes me that there's nothing in here. There's like no wires. There's normally like 15 switchers inside one of these cabinets, and the amp's all crushed over in a corner. Or most of this cabinet is just dead, empty free space. And the reason we have to use this size of a cabinet is because of the one big giant humongous switcher that's on the inside of this thing. The upside of that is it doesn't back up, doesn't move, doesn't fail. Now, Sebastian, let me tell you this, my friend. If you ever want to run this on 220, it's totally 220 capable. You have to change your plug-in, of course, to go from 110 to 220. So you can put a 220 plug on this. And then you come in and you cut this yellow and blue wire right here. Just cut it, move the 2 wires away from each other. This unit's an auto switch unit. It runs on 110 or 220. And it puts out 10 amps of 12 volt. And the only thing the 12 volt circuit runs is the LED, the relay, and of course the fan when I bring it over here. But Sebastian, this is the inside of your box, bud. Very straightforward. Just clean, simple, and elegant design. So give me just a minute. We're going to put the lid on it, and then we're going to show you this thing running. And we'll try this again. I was sitting here holding on to the camera, and as I'm shooting the video, I'm not paying attention to what's on the window finder, and I kept doing this and this. And I can't do that in video land. It makes everybody sick. Okay, Mr. Turner, here you go. One thing I want to talk about is, let's look at these little ring covers. I had one show up here the other day, not built by me. It was one that came in here for repair, and the poor guy had cardboard in here. And that's the way it come from the builder. He used some like craft cardboard. I couldn't believe it. This is 8-inch thick fiberglass resin board. This is fiber board that's in here. This is load rated. This is just as strong as the grill lid. So Mr. Turner, don't be afraid to set anything on the top of this. You're not going to hurt it. We went with a low profile fan, black fan of course. And this is just a stripped out, mean, low down, channel 6 operating son of a bitch machine. This is going to be a great little driver for your little amp that we were talking about. And no preamp, no sideband delay, none of that stuff. On and operate. The reason that you want to leave the on switch and the operate separate, that way you can let it cool off and still keep talking on stuff if you wanted to. So let's run around the band again. I'll try and not bump the zoom button on this take. 1000 watt slug in PEP, 1000 watt slug in average, 5 watt slug in reverse back from the 10,000 watt dummy load. We're going to use the 5 watt slug in reverse between the 955 and of course the 2-pill bipolar box. So let me show you some drive here real quick. We're going to look at it in peak. Hello, audio. About 90 watts worth of peak. We're going to go over here and look at it in average. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. About 21, 22 watts in average power input. For the bird guys, or the average reading guys without peak kits, about 20, 30 bird watts. For the peak kit guys, you're looking at 60 to 80 watts worth of drive is what you want to put into this. Max. Very sensitive, high output. You know, low input, high output. Let me show you the pass-through tune, so talking through the amplifier. Less than 1/8 of a watt. So we're going to turn the amp on, we're going to turn it to operate, a little blue light comes on. Peak. About 400 bird. Input tune is perfectly flat, less than 1/4 watt or 1/2 watt coming back. Even the SWR meter on the front of the striker's happy. Let's run our dead key up here a little bit. BBI. We still get right on up there to our 1000 watts. In the corner. The most that you'll see this ever peak to is about 1200, period. That's all you're going to get out of it. Mr. Turner, I know it has been a long time coming, my friend, and I apologize it takes me forever to get anything done. You guys that have not been following along, I am slammed up to my eyeballs, and I have not been taking any new orders since the beginning of the year. I got about 15 more on the books that I want to nail out before I decide to go any further, so we are going to endure from here until we're done. 15, that's it. That's not counting the 48 pill that I'm currently working on, so 16 total. I got on the books right now that I'm going to take on, and then when I get done with the rest of those, then I'll think about what I'm going to do next. But a lot of these amps that are come are going to be MOSFET boxes. So, hope you guys are ready for that. Gentlemen, my name is BBI, and without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come check out my webpage, www.bbiamps.com. You got any questions, anything I can do to help you out, anything, don't hesitate to call that number right there at the bottom of the screen, right there at the very edge of the screen. You know, right there. Make sure to click subscribe. We're going to have some really cool stuff coming out here later on this month. 48 pill, 2 pill 50 volt mobile, giant 2x8 with big switch mode supplies in it. Bunch of fun stuff coming up. Bunch of fun stuff. Gentlemen, appreciate your all support. I got a bunch of SP220s and a couple Drakes and a Henry and a whole bunch of other multi-band ham stuff that I've got to work on also coming up this month as repairs. So on that note, I got to get chooching and chugging along because, well, we're almost over halfway through this month. We'll see you guys. You have a good night and a good day. BBI gone. Another dude, 10-8 and straight. Click, click.